Good morning, everyone. We'll call the Board of Commissioners meeting, January 8th meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll start with the agenda review.
Mr. Chair, there are no changes to the agenda this morning.
I'll move. Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. First order of business is to appoint a chair and vice chair. Open nominations for chair.
I would nominate Will Purvis.
And I'll second the nomination.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
Got a few seconds there.
Okay, are there any other nominations? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. We have a motion to for vice chair.
I would nominate Vance Stromberg.
Second.
Okay,
Thank you.
are there any other nominations? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Our vice chair. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we'll move to the board meeting calendar. Has everyone had an opportunity to look that over?
We got committee assignments.
Committee assignments.
Every year.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
Let's do
Sorry
that
about
every
that.
year.
Let's do the
I'll move the
committee.
committee assignments.
Okay.
I would second that.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have our committee assignments. Now we'll go to the meeting schedule.
The board
I'll move the board calendar.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? There's no discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have our calendar. Okay, we'll move right into the small cities loan request. Heather?
You can join us up
Come
here.
on
Morning,
up
Heather.
front.
Good morning.
Good morning, Heather.
Okay, well, tell us what we have here.
Yeah, so this is a request from Dakota Mart, which is the gas station in Good Thunder, for a total of $45,000 requested from the Small City Revolving Loan. She initially had $60,000. I did talk with Bob here as far as the 25% required down. There was a lock-in price that she needed to get before the end of the year, so we did allow for that 25% to be put toward the contractor directly rather than towards this loan. So then the amount changed from 60 to 45.
Okay, very good. Does anyone have any questions for Heather?
Just looks like some new gas pumps and some
Yep.
installations, and
Yep.
very important to keep that in that
Exactly.
community. So
Yep, it's been down for maybe a month now, and
Oh, nice.
people are starting to
Sure.
get concerned. So
Traffic is good, I hope.
yeah,
the
traffic
traffic
is
flow.
fine, I guess, but you know, it's one of those things. Seeing the bags over the pumps, it's kind of, you know,
Sure.
we want people to know that they can stop.
I would move to approve.
Okay,
Second.
any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I just might add, I did have a chance to talk with Brian Stading from RCF, who has spent a little time with the applicant and reviewed some of the financials, and he reported that they have a good business model, and so we're hopeful that that continues into the future.
Very good.
Great.
thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Oh.
Yep. Vance. I second.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you very much, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
Thanks, Heather.
Okay, at this time, we'll recess the board meeting, and do I have a motion to recess?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and we'll move into the Economic Development Authority annual meeting. I'll call that meeting to order. We have election of officers. Do I have a motion for chairperson?
Can we do the whole thing at one
Did
time?
we do the whole
Chair?
thing? or not?
I think we have in the
We have.
past, so.
Have we?
Yeah, we
Move
can
the
do the
slate.
slate of officers.
I would move the slate.
I'll second it.
Okay, very good. Any discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. We have our agenda review.
Mr. Chair, there are no changes to the agenda today.
Okay.
Move to approve.
Is there a
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have our agenda. The minutes from October 9th, 2018.
I'll move the
You
minutes.
have okay,
Second?
okay. Any discussion? None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Is there any other business?
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. We will move to the Regional Railroad Authority Annual Meeting. I'll call that meeting to order. Do I have a motion to appoint the officers?
So moved.
Second?
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. We have an agenda.
Mr. Chair, there are no changes to this agenda.
Okay.
I'll move the agenda.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Minutes from January 2nd, 2018. Have a motion to approve.
I'll move the minutes.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Is there any other business?
I move to adjourn.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second?
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay. We will reconvene the county board meeting, and I would invite Ryan Filges.
Morning, Ryan.
Morning, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Good. How about you? Good. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
I think we got a new record for speeding through two different meetings. The EDA meeting and the railroad.
Railroad.
We must have a record.
First, when you said a new record, I didn't know if that was going to be a good thing or a bad thing. So it seems like that one's a good one. Well, I don't have any action items for today, but we do have quite a bit of informational items. First order of business is an update on the local partnership program. This is for the intersections with Minnesota Highway 14 at CASA 57, where under the Highway 14 bridge it transitions to Riverfront Drive, so a joint jurisdiction between city and county. The need for roundabouts at the ramp intersections was identified in the Riverfront Drive corridor study that was completed last year and has subsequently been included in our current capital improvement program for 2021. The local partnership program is the former cooperative agreements program. So while the county and the city were planning on this project and setting it into our CIP, MnDOT did not have the project funded for their share of the project, which created obviously a setback for the county. So we were able to complete the application for the LPP funding, and that will cover MnDOT's anticipated share of the project cost, including engineering and construction. We just received approval of the application for $966,000. So we'll continue to move forward with the project. We'll formalize the LPP agreement with the state, and we'll solicit a consultant engineering design services for the two roundabouts, one at the south and north sides of Highway 14. So, as you may recall, the issue is really traffic backing up onto Highway 14 into the actual shoulders of the through lanes, and then people taking risky chances crossing traffic as they become impatient. Some people going up making illegal U-turns. So, getting those roundabouts in will be a great improvement to that corridor.
Yes.
So, good news, while it doesn't go towards the county share, it does help us to get the project completed. So, downside of that type of work is that we do have to deal with trunk highway review process, so it has to go through not only the district office in Mankato, it has to go through the MnDOT central office, and as well as their federal funding office. So it creates additional hurdles and headaches for us. The last time we had to deal with that was the roundabout at CASA 12 and Minnesota Highway 83. So fortunately, I think we're out ahead of it a little bit farther this time, and in pretty good shape to get it delivered for 2021. Next order of business is updated Minnesota crash fact cards. So these have a total summation of all of the data through 2017. There was a year behind. These datas have all of the roadway crashes and fatalities along with roadway miles listed for year 2017. And as you'll see, the state of Minnesota was at a total of 358 fatalities. The TZD goal, and you can see it on the other side of the card, how the total fatalities nationwide compared to Minnesota is tracking. It's a good trend line, but it's not decreasing at the rate that we would like to see. My seat of the pants opinion of that is through sitting through several TZD meetings, distracted driving is really getting to be the major problem. So these are handy. I have copies of them in my binders basically wherever I go, so I thought it might be helpful for you in your conversations with folks. There's also some interesting statistics on there, transportation, trivia, and facts, so if you ever find yourself in a transportation trivia contest, maybe it'll be helpful.
Very good, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep. A little bit of a construction projects update. Obviously, things are frozen up for the most part. We're not actively working. But we do have projects that are still hanging open. County State Highway 1, Old Minnesota Trunk Highway 66. The reconstruction project from 90 to Mankato in the south surcharge. Maintenance staff have been dealing with some soft conditions out there due to the recent warmer temperatures. The surface is thawing a little bit, creating a little bit of a hardship for some of the folks out there. So we've been doing some additional maintenance work to keep it passable. And now the freeze up again will be helpful, but we knew this was going to happen, and pending any massive rainfall events, it should be in fair condition to get us into the next year's construction season. Continued coordination with the Army Corps of Engineers in the areas of surcharge south of 90. As you recall, those were the areas where we found archaeological artifacts. So we have submitted a complete archaeological investigation phase 2 report. That's been submitted to the Corps of Engineers, and they're coordinating it with the State Historic Preservation Office and the Bureau of Indian Affairs. We're asking for a meeting with the Corps of Engineers liaison person, hoping to have that set up in the next couple of weeks to better grasp the coming steps and do whatever effort we can to try to push this forward. We would still like to get the surcharge on in 2019 so that we could move the subsequent project into 2020. The Johnson property, the hazard mitigation grant project that was funded through the Homeland Security Emergency Management, administering FEMA funds, as well as the DNR flood damage reduction hazard mitigation grants. The HSEM grant, I'm sorry, I'm playing a little bit of alphabet soup here. Yeah. The FEMA grant through HSEM paid for 75% of the eligible project costs. The DNR flood damage reduction grant paid for the remaining 25% of the costs. The home was taken down earlier this year. Obviously, as you recall, it was in imminent threat of collapsing into the river. So our staff did a great job of administering that federal contract, getting the house down, mitigating the risk. They had a recent meeting with staff from HSEM and the DNR and had gone through all of their documentation, funding requests. So we have just a couple of documents yet to submit to finalize the grant, and then we'll get our remaining funding back. So that's the third one of those. I hope we get a break from those for a while. They're cumbersome for a $300,000-$400,000 grant. It's a lot of work for staff, but it's a tremendous benefit for the landowners and our residents. A little bit into our planning projects updates. County State Aid Highway 1 from 9 to 90, as we talked about. It's most likely that the earliest we'll begin construction on that segment is in 2020 due to the Army Corps of Engineer permit delay and the subsequent surcharge and settlement period that we need to have. The right-of-way staff are working as time permits on the remaining parcels, knowing that there's a slight delay. It's not a tremendous rush, but they're fitting it in as time permits on other projects. And we continue to work with the residents on the southeast corner of County State Highway 1 and County State Highway 90 to address the encroachment of the road and the severance to their parcel. As you recall, there were not a lot of good alternatives going through that area. One of the alternatives was a $1 to $1.5 million retaining wall that would have been more maintenance for us in the long term. The residents weren't advocates of that either, so we did move the road 10 feet closer to the home, and we are looking at severance as the cost of constructing a new home would be severance. So it's a savings overall when it's all said and done, and it's a benefit for the landowner. So I think it should be a win-win situation, but there's a lot of details that have to be worked out in the interim. 14 from Minnesota Highway 30 to 4. Right-of-way acquisition is nearly completed. There are only a few parcels that are remaining to be acquired. We intend to submit our plans to MnDOT for approval within the next week or two, and then begin advertising for bids in early February for board approval on the March 12th meeting. So it'll be good to get that project out there. As you may recall, that was scheduled for last year. The Army Corps of Engineers permit, along with some staffing challenges we had, pushed us. The Corps permit took the better part of 8 months to receive, so pushed that into 2019. County State Highway 10 from the Blue Earth River to CSAH 1, just east of Vernon Center, really between Vernon Center and Good Thunder. Plans are at 85% completion. We're beginning work on right-of-way meetings and permit submittals, so we're hoping to get that out yet this year. Again, permit submittals are going to be a huge hurdle, as well as just the length of the project and the number of landowners out there to meet with. We're hoping to get that out likely middle of the year, get some of the work completed, and then wrap it up in 2020.
Well, and with the government shutdown, it's going to delay things that much more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's correct. And then the 17 roundabout at Hafner Drive. The 90% plans are expected by January 18th, so that's coming right along. Staff has done initial right-of-way meetings with the landowners on the four corners. We'll be following up, making offers, working through that process. The two critical paths for that project are really right-of-way acquisition, obviously, but utility relocations.
Oh.
There's quite a hornet's nest on the north and south side of the road of utilities that have to be relocated or lowered, especially because the roundabout is going down from the existing road elevation to get everything to fit and drain properly. So what we're looking at now and talking with the consultants and the city staff, our county engineering staff, is that we'll likely need to have a little bit longer closure period for the intersection as a whole to facilitate those utility relocations.
Will it be 2 lanes going around or just one?
It'll be 2 lanes through on 17, and then 1 approach lane in each direction on the Hafner legs.
Okay.
So similar to Carver Road.
Okay.
Yep. So we're starting to work on the finer details as far as how we time that. Again, getting the right-of-way acquisitions completed is critical, because that's when we can issue the utility relocation notice under the city's franchise agreement with the utilities. They have a 3-month window to relocate, and our intent is to try to offer them, 3 to 4 weeks at the back end of that the road would be closed and they could have free range to get their work done. Small bridges and box culverts, as you may recall, I've rattled off a list. We've got about 8 small bridges and large box culverts on the list that need to be replaced. Staff have been developing plans, permits, and right-of-way for additional bids throughout the year as budget permits, so we'll be bringing those forward for consideration as time and funding becomes available. The 16 trail along Stoltzman Road from the Vietnam Veterans Memorial up to Mankato West High School at Pleasant Street. We did submit a transportation alternatives grant for that project. We do have that identified in our capital improvement plan, I believe 2021 currently, and that was only half of the trail, so getting the trail from the Veterans Memorial up to the elementary school intersection, but not the remainder of the way. So we did submit a transportation alternatives grant application before the January 4th deadline. We requested $482,000 for the participating eligible share of the project costs, and that grant will be considered in March of 2019. So we're going out there trying to find additional funding sources to help cover shares of these projects that we can move into other elements of our construction program. And just a couple of miscellaneous items, as you may recall, we were working on municipal maintenance agreements over the last year. We did get those sent out to all of our small municipalities, get them signed and returned, and we did get the payments made in late 2018. So it's going to be very helpful for our maintenance staff to have a consistent model with the surrounding cities and a consistent payment amount to each of those cities as well, so that we're all paying them the same amount for the same duties. And obviously the amount is variable based on the length of lane miles they have, but at least it's a fair rate for all of them. And we do have a cost escalation built into it that'll cover that 5-year span with a construction cost index. The other item, the Eagle Lake Force Main, the work in 17 has been completed. As you may recall, part of the permit application for them to make the connection just west of Javens was that we wanted the line abandoned because it's a fairly large void space, 14 inches, and unknown condition. The city has requested that they do additional video inspection before sand filling the majority of the pipe. We are agreeable to that. The segment where they made the connection by Javens seems to be in very good condition. However, as we know, the very western end of it was completely deteriorated to where there was nothing. So they're going to try to find a contractor to provide some video inspection, and perhaps we can whittle down how much of it actually needs to be sand filled, and the rest we can identify as if there's ever some form of failure, then it would be the city's liability, but try to make a reasonable compromise in that area.
Do they have any idea what made, Mr. Chair, do they have any idea what made the west end deteriorate already? And
I think it's the fact that there was the mixture of the sewage gases in the air and actually created, I might not get the type of, an acidic environment.
Right.
Yeah.
That actually ate away at the pipe, and the pipe was an unlined steel pipe, so that led to a shorter
And was that
service
pipe
life.
a little older or not? Was that
It
the
was
original
all the
pipe
stuff that was installed in
in the 90s?
In the 90s.
It was, okay. I just don't remember if it went all the way to Snell or if it was just, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
So the rest of it's been televised from Eagle Lake heading west.
No, that's what they're
Oh.
trying to find. Because it's such long and uninterrupted lengths, most of those televising sewer camera guys can get out like 800-900 feet total.
Okay.
And we've got 1.5 miles where you almost have to go 3,000-4,000 feet before you get a break without digging the road up. So we're going to at least try to get up in the ends and in the air release manholes where we can and really identify, try to minimize that excavation, because I'd rather probably chance risk of settlement down the road versus digging up the road every 500-600 feet to blow sand in.
Well, I'm more interested in the line that they didn't replace. The other line is 30 years old, coming out of Eagle Lake.
Still in
to
condition.
Javens.
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't believe that, because there's still water in it, I don't believe they televise that segment.
So I don't know how
I can
that-
follow up on that and check
Just be interesting to know.
Yeah.
And how do we find out that that's failing? The pumps read differently between lift stations, or is it just, I mean, how did they figure out to start seeping through the ground? or-
No, a giant suck hole developed. It was actually taking the soil with
Oh,
it
it's
as
sucking
the
the
water
soil
flowed
in,
through.
okay,
Yeah,
so
it
it'll be a
pulled the soil
sinkhole like
away.
a
Yep.
broken tile in a ditch.
Yep, very similar.
So it'll suck the tile in. But if it's underneath our road and it's sucking dirt,
Eventually you'll have a sinkhole in the road.
In the
which is
road,
The
yeah.
risk
The road
that
will-
I'm very concerned about, knowing just the condition of the west end of the pipe. So seeing the east end by Javens did help ease a little bit concern.
Yeah, that's what you
Not
said.
completely, but it at least gives us, I think, some ability to compromise.
yeah, the stuff heading east from Javens is more of a concern than the stuff that's empty now, because that
Right,
could
well-
create a sinkhole under our road. So
Yep.
it'd be nice.
And
if we could-
my concern was if it was in that fragile state, it will eventually collapse,
Right.
and then you have settlement in the road regardless.
Mhm.
But you're correct. The other piece could still cause a sinkhole potentially.
I'm not sure where the lift stations are positioned and if they all have monitors on them, but if they have a lift station, you can tell if there's leakage between the two lift stations.
Yeah, and I think the
Monitor
only lift station is the one in Eagle Lake.
Probably in Eagle Lake, and that's all force main
And
all the way to
then- and
Mankato.
then when it gets dumped in by Javens, it's a gravity feed sewer the rest of the way into Mankato.
Okay, so it just doesn't have another end
Right.
to read it.
Unless it goes to another lift station upstream for Mankato, which it may, to get pumped all the way to the wastewater treatment
Yeah.
plant.
Then you could regulate, how much
Yeah,
fluid's
if you don't
going through.
close at one and then another without any additional
Yeah.
flow being introduced.
They did the same thing in the Eagle Lake Trailer Park. It was using thousands of gallons of water, but we had to monitor the water going in and the water going out.
Oh,
And so you could
absolutely.
tell that there was
Inflow.
inflow, yeah.
Yes.
So it's,
Aside from that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Our staff is staying very busy, just shifting gears now from construction to looking at next year's program and getting plans and permits and right-of-way acquired and cleaning up miscellaneous things over the course of the winter. So,
I've got a nice winter to do that.
so far so good.
Great.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, go ahead.
yesterday I talked to the new Commissioner, Margaret Anderson Kelleher,
Yes,
and she's real interested in coming down and talking about things, so we'll
that'd
have
be
to
fantastic.
talk about that, yeah.
Yeah. I met her Friday at the MICA Engineers Legislative Committee meeting.
Oh, good.
So that was nice. And then the chair of the Transportation Committee was also via the intercom, so it was nice to have an
Both of
opportunity to
them.
discuss with both of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be great.
Anything else for Ryan?
Nope.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a fantastic day.
Thanks.
Off in the new year with you.
Okay, we'll move on to administrative services.
Well, Mr. Chair, first item is the county board minutes for December 18th.
I would move the minutes.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Next up would be the bills for the 3 weeks indicated.
I'll move the bills.
second. Okay, discussion. Got one in the first week, Connect Real Estate Group. Just didn't know what it was. It's only $102, but I just didn't know what it was. Payment for recipient.
That would be something from the Human Services Department, but let me see if I can get you more information here. Looks like we moved a client out of an apartment and did some cleaning.
Okay, that would make sense. Second week, Gustafson Drainage with 306.
I just hit the hang up button.
Hit the hang up button.
No, I
No,
think
it's
it's
right
on
here.
that.
Oh, it's over there.
I don't know.
That's all right.
I don't know if that did it,
I
but
don't
it
think
worked.
we're expecting a call.
I didn't do it.
He answered it.
Somebody called in.
Maybe they'll call back.
They'll call back.
I think on the radio.
The Gustafson Drainage is a number of ditch repairs, a couple of big ones, JD 9, and then a second one for CD 48.
Okay. And next chapter technology for 109,000. Software, it looks like.
That is electronic data management system, payments in human services. They've used it both in the financial assistance and child support areas as well as expanding to social services.
And that's all I had, Chair. Okay, any other questions?
I don't have any.
Okay,
Just
okay, we have a motion and a second then. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bills are approved. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, item number 10 in your packet is the Human Resources Department agenda. We just have informational items for you today. A lot of activity again with hirings and kind of promotions as a result of some of our early retirement activity, but you'll see that the first item is a promotion of a probation officer to a probation officer 2. Then we have filled probation officer position, as well as a social worker, a financial assistance specialist, actually a couple of those, and a legal assistant in the county attorney's office. We had a promotion of a patrol officer to a lieutenant in the sheriff's department. We did also have a couple of resignations in our jail, so a couple of custody officers are leaving. So we've initiated recruitment to refill those positions. We did have a change of employment on one of the custody officers, moving from part-time or from full-time to part-time, and then initiated recruitment to again fill that position. And then, we had a lateral transfer of a heavy equipment operator to a park technician position. And so we've initiated recruitment to refill that heavy equipment operator. Be happy to answer any specific questions that the board might have on those changes.
Okay, good. Anybody have any questions for Bob?
No questions?
Busy time.
Very good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
the HR folks are busy. I stop up there once in a while and I hear them say, busy, busy, so it is
Alright.
active up there. Oh, well, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, I have number 11 in your packet then is a memo regarding crop damage payment schedule. This is done every year to establish rates for damages with some of our ditch projects. And so we set different yield and price per bushel rates that are indicated there on your memo in the packet. And so we're recommending approval of those rates. Those rates can be adjusted during the year should we see dramatic change in some of these estimates, but we like to get that out at this point as we enter the spring.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
I'd just like to note, Mr. Chair, that this recommendation was brought forward from the Extension Office, and they reviewed it. And
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay. Move on to the publication bids.
Well, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, we do have the 2019 publisher bids. We need to go through and approve each one of these, starting with the delinquent tax list. We're recommending the Maple River Messenger at $4.75 per column inch.
so moved.
Second.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Okay,
The second item is the Board of Commissioner and Board of Equalization summaries, and here again, we're recommending the Maple River Messenger.
have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Well, I'm gonna give you my soapbox that I've been giving you for the last 8 years, that I feel that these are ridiculous. We have the ability to put everything online, and everybody in the county can find it online, and to be able to spend this money and waste this money for small, I mean, we have the idea that people read the Maple River Messenger here in Mankato is ridiculous. I mean, some people do, people that have interest in Maple River would, but this is it's nothing we can do. It's a state law. We have to do it, but it's one of those state laws that are outdated, and that really needs to be looked at and changed by our state legislators. So I've gone on more about this in the past, and I think I'll shut her down now. But it's I disagree with these things. I disagree. You know, we have no choice. But the idea that people across the county are going to be reading some of these newspapers and getting this information doesn't make sense. They can all go online and read everything online because everything's put into our county website. That's it. Thank you,
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you.
I'll get off my soapbox now.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We'll move on to the legal notices for 2019.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the recommendation here is the Mankato Free Press at $10.75 per column inch.
So moved.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved. Okay, move on to the layout for the annual financial statement.
And here again, we're recommending the Mankato Free Press at $219.81.
I'll move it.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Move on to the printing of the annual financial statement.
The recommendation here is the Mankato Free Press at $53.55 per thousand.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? There's no discussion. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's carried. The insertion rate for the annual financial statement.
Here we recommend both papers, the Mankato Free Press and the Maple River Messenger. The Free Press at $413.50 and the Maple River Messenger at $225.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Okay, thank you for that.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, item number 13 in your packet is a resolution regarding setting the bounty for gophers, basically. And so we're recommending the rate remain at $1 per pocket gopher and $1 per 13-line ground squirrel for 2019. The question that is often asked by the board is how much should we pay in the prior year? And Jesse helped me out and looked it up, and we paid a grand total of $55 in 2018.
What a bargain.
It's down.
I'll move approval.
Second.
There's now, okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? You know, we've spent a lot of time on this in the past.
We
In the
have,
past. I'm hoping to change that.
Discussion came reviewed.
with our new commissioner that had been here in the past, he's noticed some things never change.
Some things do never change.
So, okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, well,
Item number 14 in your packet is a memo regarding the Small Cities Revolving Loan and Ditch balance loan interest rates. We've indicated there that the county board has historically reviewed and set the interest rate each year at this meeting in January for all new loans. The interest rate shall be 0.5% less than the prime rate on the date of the organizational meeting, but shall not exceed 8% or be less than 4%. We've been at 4% for many years, and actually the prime rate though now is higher, and so we're recommending the rate be set at 5%, and that rate will also apply then to those ditch balances that are negative at the end of the year.
move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? If there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay,
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, item number 15 in your packet is a memo from Josh Milo, the Deputy County Administrator and Corrections Director, regarding an agreement with Nicollet County for the juvenile work crew. This is a contract that will cover 2019. The rate remains at $2,500 for the year. It is a good value for the county to work with the Nicollet County folks in serving our juveniles on a work crew, and so we're recommending approval of this agreement.
do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I think it's a great thing
Yep.
for Blue Earth County and Nicollet County, and
Good partnership.
we certainly have seen the benefits. We see it at the community farm,
Yep, absolutely.
and so good deal.
Yep. Any other thoughts? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Okay,
Item number 16 in your packet is an appointment of a County License Bureau Director. The board will recall that we had some discussion at a work session a couple of months ago regarding some potential realignment of units within departments, and so we're moving ahead with the plan to move the license center under the supervision of the finance department. This will help us with some workload balancing as well as aligning some of the functional tasks that are performed. And as a result of that change, we do need to appoint a new county license bureau director. Michael Stahlberger has carried that title for a number of years, and now with this change we need to appoint Lisa Malinsky as the a license bureau director as well as deputy register. And then also included in this memo is a statement that the county, that a criminal history check is on file for the new appointee. This resolution will also allow us to adjust some things going forward as needed with any different changes at the Department of Public Safety. And so we're recommending approval of this resolution effective February 1st.
I'll move the resolution.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Motion is carried.
Just one final comment on this. We did indicate to staff that Lisa will, as the finance director, take over supervision of the license center effective today. So that has been communicated to staff now. So just so the board is aware of that change.
Okay, very good.
How much more of a workload is that for her?
For finance, there's probably 7, 8 staff that'll now be reporting to the finance department, and so they'll be busy. I mean,
Lisa's been busy anyway.
Right.
That's
Right.
why I'm just concerned that we're.
Yep. No, it positions us well for the future, but it also aligns some of the functions there. I think the finance department actually is somewhat excited to be involved just because of the cash handling that happens behind the scenes.
It's all positive.
We can make some improvements there.
No. Okay.
I talked to Lisa, Mr. Chair. I talked to Lisa about it, and she's really excited. And it does. It's a great connection with when you're talking about financials.
Well, item number 17 in your packet is a memo regarding extension committee appointments. We had this request from our extension department to appoint 3 individuals from the public to terms on the extension committee. The people being recommended are Lee Williams, Norla Hesse, and Laura Korgard. And so we're and Anna Good as well, pardon me. There are a couple of remaining slots that are open, and they'll be working to fill those, but we're bringing forward those 4 names at this point.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just a comment, Mr. Chair, that the 3 that are on the board now are all very active. They show up at all the meetings, and we only meet 4 times a year, but they are good participants, and Anna, I think, will be a good fit to that organization also. So.
And on that note, I gave them a name recommendation this morning.
Oh, okay.
Longtime 4-H member stuff. So we'll hopefully we'll have another one in the not too distant future. So, okay. Any
Great.
other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Wow, we're moving right along
Yes,
here.
you are, Mr.
You are.
Yeah.
You're
You are
moving.
an amazing guy. Did anybody tell you that?
Yeah, I owe it all to my board. Okay, we're at the point of Commissioner's report on committees, and welcome back, Colleen.
Thank you.
In honor of your being back on the board, would you like to give your report first?
Well, actually, until you're sworn in, you really don't have one. But just a
I
couple.
figured you'd been busy, though.
I have been busy. Yesterday, I was lucky enough to be at Governor Walz's swearing in, and it was wonderful. If you read the free press this morning, you read a lot about it, but it was so uplifting and so hopeful, and just they had teachers there, they had student bands. It was really a wonderful thing. So I'm excited about that, and a lot of the new commissioners were there, so I had the opportunity to talk to some of them. It's, you know, building those relationships, as we all know, is so critical. So I'm excited, and I'm really excited to be back here. And I really look forward to learning from you all and working with you.
Well,
Thanks.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
Definitely. Welcome back. And something new, I forgot, should have pointed this out to you, but Trey from the Free Press tends to time us to see who has the longest or the shortest report?
I bet mine will be the shortest today.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't be so sure.
Okay, Kip, would you like to continue?
Again, welcome back, Dwayne.
Thanks,
It's a
Kip.
pleasure working with you before, and I'm sure we'll have a great time working together again,
We will.
so. After our last board meeting, we had Drew's retirement party, which he had a wonderful turnout, and nice program put together by the staff. Had our planning and zoning meeting. We had 2 items on the agenda, but the solar operation that we've already seen 3 times got pulled at the very last minute, and so we only had 1 transfer development right. So we'll see that later this month, pretty straightforward. Had some discussion with Ryan and the administrator, Bob, about the St. Clair shop, with some development of that and how we're working on that. Yesterday I was up at the East High School, spoke to the East senior class, three classes yesterday, with Mike Laban, council member from Mankato, and had a great visit with them. It's always fun to talk with them, but I don't know how teachers do that all day long, just stand up there and talk. I was so hoarse yesterday, I couldn't hardly talk. And Mike and I shared the hour, so. But that's always a pleasure to go do that and be out in front of those kids. And then I had our MRCI meeting yesterday, and we had a good year last year. They're just finishing up the financials, but things went pretty well, and things are moving forward progressively there. So that's my report, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you. Vance?
All right, well, it's rather short, and even though it's 3 weeks, it's, you know, you have Christmas and New Year's week, you don't have a lot going on. Of course, we had our board meeting on the 18th, and then we had a United Way lunch with commissioners after that. Central Region phone call I had that afternoon, and a Justice and Public Safety phone call from NACO I had, and then, of course, we had our holiday cookie event, you know, with our employees. December 20th, I had a TDS Finance, and then another board meeting up at the MSU Library. We did a tour around the MSU Library. That's quite a place. And then we had Mark Lindahl's retirement, which was, you know, sad to see Mark go, but it's exciting to see him starting a new part of his life. Of course, on the 21st, we had Drew Campbell's retirement, and we all wished him well. Almost expected to see him here today, but, you know, saying, where's he at? December 23rd, I had a magic meeting, which is up in St. Cloud. On the January 2nd, we had a department head meeting. And then, of course, earlier on this morning, both Colleen and I were sworn in.
That's right.
And that was it.
Okay, good report, thank you.
You'd be the longest.
Mark?
Okay, yeah, we had after our board meeting, we had the holiday party and all that. Then on let's see, the 20th, and the Drew retirement and Mark Lindahl, went to those. And the 20th, I had a meeting in the afternoon with our partners for affordable housing. And of course, it's that time of the year when we have with Pedal Past Poverty. It's the 7th year, so I appreciate everybody's support. I'll be asking for your support. Maybe I'll get Vance on the team again.
There's a possibility because it doesn't mess with the NACO
That's
stuff
right.
this year.
Yeah, it's a little different time.
We'll see.
And so we were working on that, and which is our largest and most signature fundraising event. Then department heads on the 2nd, and that really basically conclude my report, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you. Now, mine is relatively short also, of course, with the lunch with the United Way folks was mentioned, and the holiday reception was mentioned, Mark Lindahl's retirement, Drew's retirement, has all been mentioned already. Yesterday, I attended the investigators conference down at the Civic Center. There's 460 law enforcement officers down there that are attending a 2-day training, and it's gotten to be a very, very large, very popular training session. And got to see one of our former employees receive a Meritorious Achievement Award, Dave Cargie, who just retired from the Sheriff's Department, and Julie, one of our child protection workers. Help me with their name, Bob.
Margaret Alder, I think.
Yes, and she received an award for her work in the child protection area. So very, very proud of both of those folks. Reaffirms my thoughts all along that we have excellent employees here in Blue Earth County. Bob and I met for a few minutes to talk about today's agenda, and then after that I had my monthly briefing with the Crystal Seasons folks, and it's always good to get out and visit with them and let them know what's going on in the county. And then of course this morning the swearing in of our 2 commissioners, and that's my report. So, is there anything else we need to discuss?
That's all I have for you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, and with that, I'll ask for a motion to recess to Olives for lunch at 11:30.
So moved.
Second.
Okay? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.